these advertisements coming across your channel. These advertisements for Ukrainian wives and Georgian wives and Filipino wives. There was an advertisement that came across my channel for Filipino wives. Oh, and Slavic wives too. Now the Filipino wives, that was a pretty interesting one to read. And also there's some interviews. There's a lady who, well, it seems to me they're not trying to get people to get a Filipino wife and then have her move to the United States. It seems a lot of these Filipino women speak very good English, whereas many of the Filipino men do not speak as good English. They probably all speak better English than me. Now, do I have a wife? No, I do not. Do I plan on getting a Filipino wife? No, I do not. What would I do with a Filipino wife? She'd still have to go find herself a real husband. I'm not a husband. I'm not husband material. That's one of the things that really bugged me about friendships that people expected more out of. Like, can we just be friends? Now, these ladies in the Philippines seem to think that they could live comfortably with a husband and children on $600 to $1,000 a month. Comfortably. That's the question the lady was asking was, how much would you consider rich to live here in the Philippines? See, they're focusing very much on the living in the Philippines part. Oh, I like that part. That part I am absolutely down with. It'd be great to learn a foreign language too. I'd stick out like a sore thumb. But what would be the purpose of getting a wife? I'm not interested in performing any of the husbandly duties. I wouldn't mind maintaining and keeping a household. I wouldn't mind helping out the poor. But also, one of the things that we're not looking at in the Philippines is that when it comes to human trafficking, they're it. Not just the Philippines, Thailand as well. That whole area is full of, well, a lot of real bad stuff. There's a lot of the boats they have there. They said 1 in 10 of the boats there has sex slaves on board. Not being transferred to anywhere. They live on the boats and service the people on the boats. Now there's a high number of people, males specifically, who are homosexual in the Philippines and also in Thailand. Some of this is cultural. The idea of intimacy without children and expense. Now, I've never been to the Philippines, and from the stuff that I've been having pop up on my channel about all these different women, you know, would you like to be with a Slavic woman? No, I would not. Well, how do you know, Sean? Well, because I don't want to be with anybody. I want a St. Bernard. My ideal bed is 2 St. Bernards and a Yorkie for my feet. In the summertime, I'll wash the Yorkie and use it as a pillow. So what's wrong with American women? We're not even going to go into that. And why not? Because this is about an advertisement that came across. And how many of them there are. And how many men that it appeals to. Hey, maybe I'd go to a foreign country and somebody will actually like me for me instead of a Gucci bag. Or Versace. Or Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton. Now, what would I do with a foreign wife? If I moved there, I'd be the foreign one. That much is true. But the thing remains of what would I do with her if she's expecting a cure for loneliness? Well, she better be interested in a lot of stuff other than just sex. Or just money. Otherwise, what's even the purpose? I mean, would it be to try to get citizenship? Would I be trying to get citizenship in the Philippines? Would that be a purpose or a reason to do that? Now, there's a lot of guys that this kind of thing appeals to, the mail order bride thing, or... Well, you guys remember in the 90s when we had Russian women being transported here by the hundreds of thousands. After the fall of the Soviet Union, it was just one of them things. All right, so when it comes to human trafficking, I do consider that the same thing. Meeting somebody over the internet and falling in love with their personality, I suppose there's a possibility of that. There's also a possibility that that's not the personality they actually have in real life. A lot of people type nice things at me, and it turns out they're just so messed up on drugs or alcohol that's about the maximum that they can maintain. And then, of course, you can't type anything on the internet, on Facebook or YouTube, without getting a bunch of advertisements. So, of course, I speak out about people being treated like they're schizophrenic. I don't even think it's okay to treat schizophrenic people the way that we treat schizophrenic people. I've seen what works and what doesn't outside of a sterile environment. It's easy to tell a man that he needs to be on bed rest for 6 weeks, otherwise his back ain't gonna heal. It's another thing when he's gonna lose his job if he takes that 6 weeks off. He's gonna lose his housing. Now, some of y'all, when I say housing, you understand it's actually the meaning that I usually mean, which is government housing. But any housing is housing. You live with your mom or your dad, that's housing. They're renting from somebody, that's still housing. But how many of you people actually own anything? How many of you own property? And how many of you are living paycheck to paycheck because you can't afford to get your own property? Sure, you get a house in the area. If you get a loan, you get a mortgage, pay off a place in some of them areas, Colorado, like Longmont, $800 a month to buy the place. $1,400 to rent it, plus utilities. Can you really rent an entire house in Longmont, Colorado for that much? Not anymore. You're looking at about $2,000 a month for a house. But it's still only about $800 and something a month if you're able to finance it. Problem is coming up with the loan. You can't come up with that money yourself. You're too busy paying $2,000 a month in rent, plus utilities. I can't even take care of myself on what I have. If I could go to the Philippines and live comfortably on that, that'd be great. Can't get to the Philippines. Costs money. Costs money to do all the things that you want me to do. All the places that you tell me to go cost money. You're not paying for those things. I am. I don't have $2,000 a month for rent. I don't have $4,000 for the first and last month's in deposit. Here it's not very cheap either. Somebody was telling me they might be able to find a room they could rent me for about $800 a month. That's all of my money every month. Oh, there you go. That asshole's probably gonna be ringing and calling and being an ass all day. Not that it matters. The most screwed up part at all this, though, is that I saw everything coming. I spoke up about all of it. I spoke up about the weapons, the tactics. At some point, everybody gets sick of being right. Is that true? No, there's lots of people that are wrong a lot. I'm wrong a lot. But the stuff that I'm wrong about is because I was lied to. That's understandable. Also, with the nature of the people that were involved in the situation, none of this ever should have happened. I never should have had to interact with people like Carl Rogers, Kara Johnson Miles, or the Bollinger family. I should have been allowed to take them to court, and I still need to take them to court. Until they apologize for lying, for slandering my name, for misrepresenting the situation, and for coordinating with my predators to prevent me from having an honest day in court or facing my accusers. This fucking country is goddamn nasty. You want to talk about how the laws here are better than anywhere else? No, they're not. They're not fucking enforced here. What the hell would I do with a foreign wife? Got all these advertisements for foreign wives. You can get yourself a wife from Yugoslavia. You can get yourself a wife from Ukraine. You can get yourself a wife from... Who says I want a wife? Why is it that that is still what's pushed by our entire society? We got all these sites for men's rights. And they're not sites for men's rights. They're dudes who are playing on simps. Like, yeah, you're telling a bunch of little fucking Dweezeldorfs that women don't pay any attention to how to get women if they look like you. But they don't look like you, dude. They don't have what you have. It's always pointing out the dating, the dating, the dating. That's all you fucking people care about is dating. It's gotten to the point where a man can't fucking exist and go to the fucking grocery store without getting stared at like he's a fucking pervert by a bunch of fucked up women. Like, Jesus Christ, I don't want to go out in public. I don't want anything to do with you people. With your insanity. With your belief that you should get away with doing whatever the fuck you want. It's the same goddamn problem I got with cops. They don't think the fucking law applies to them. And we've taught women that the law does not apply to them here either. Why would I want to bring a foreign woman into this? Now, sure, the way that they're pointing it out with the Filipino women, that's a little bit different. They're trying to get us to go there. It makes sense. Culturally, we're less likely to abduct them and put them on a boat and let our friends have at them. The majority of the slaves that are in the Philippines are not sex slaves. The majority of the slaves in the Philippines are men. The majority of the slaves in the Philippines are specifically used for hard manual labor. However, in the Philippines, 1 in 3 of those sex workers, these are crabbing and fishing boats. A lot of them are falling apart at the seams. Some of them you have to have a man constantly on the pump, even though there's possibly an electric or a gas pump on there. And there's human beings that are forced to live in that. They're never allowed to leave the boat. 1 in 3 of them is a male, just so you know. The majority of people human trafficked are men. We've got a lot of officers who want to claim things like, oh, well, you know, between your 13-year-old girl who's being human trafficked and, you know, all these other people being human trafficked, we're going to focus on the 14-year-old girl. No, they're not. They're going to focus on women. They're going to focus specifically on women because still, in most places in the United States, cops are still allowed to have sex with prostitutes before arresting them. Tell me that that's going to get good people in that position. Tell me that's going to not attract rapists. Oh, you can do whatever you want to somebody. Oh, this one says mentally ill. Oh, very good. Courtesy ride home with a mentally ill girl. That makes it okay to rape her, according to Colorado. And then I'm told that I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. Shit, I've got recordings on my YouTube channel from prostitutes. I've got stuff on my YouTube channel from former prostitutes. One of the common ways of doing it, and Mandy Hughes spoke about this, or sorry, Mandy Singer spoke about this on my channel. About your beau. It's kind of like a pimp. It's like a boyfriend who has no respect for you whatsoever. He'll get you fucked up on drugs and let his friends take turns on you out of the streets. Then you got the frat boys. Man, those guys are a different lot. They'll invite a woman home. Hey, we're having a party tonight. You ought to come over. She gets there, and it's mostly guys. Mostly a sausage party, and by the time she's sloshed, she can't stop them. So she should be more intelligent and not get sloshed in that situation, right? No, if they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it either way. He's nice and he's good looking, so you went home with him. And then what'd he do to you? The same thing a used car salesman always does to you. Fucks you. When I speak about the difference between a good person and a nice person, a good person, when you tell them that you've been harmed, wants to help you turn it in, wants to help stop the harm. A nice person will lie to you, pretend like you're friends, pretend like they're going to help you. I got a lot of baggage from being abused here in the United States of America. Is that something I want to dump off on some Filipino woman? No. I think it'd be better served if I was to go down there, get myself a boat, and do my own thing. I don't know how to use a boat. There's also the fact that my back is fucked. And I'm not sure how having to roll with the waves is going to impact my back. I've been doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. I just don't always know what the right thing to do is. It seems to me most of the rest of the world has already decided the right thing for me to do is to kill people. Not sure if you noticed, but I've literally killed nobody. In 7 years, I've only threatened to kill people twice. In very, very specific situations, and to try to force the cops to do their goddamn jobs. My friends tell me, oh, Sean, just give them my number, They're not letting me get that far, asshole. That's why you have to go in with me. Oh, dude, cops do this and cops do that. I know. That's why you need to go in with me, so this shit doesn't happen. And then when it does happen, they're like, I told you that was what was going to happen if I went in alone. Nothing you can do about it, man. Bullshit. There is. I don't need to go trying to purchase myself a foreign wife. That's not necessary. For most of these men's rights sites, they don't focus as much on men's rights as they should. They focus on the dating game. Well, what about those of us who ain't interested in that? Well, there's a reason that these men's sites focus on that as much as they do. It's because this is what many women are using as an excuse to harm us. We owe it to fat women to give them a chance. Are you kidding me? I don't want to give anybody a chance. I'm not any more interested in you than I am in a supermodel or a guy. I'm not interested in the bullshit that comes along with, well, your hormones. They prevent you from thinking straight. How do we keep Americans stupid? Well, we go by the motto of sex sells. And then we're constantly bombarded with sexually explicit language, sexually explicit looks. Oh my God, did he just say something about looks? Yes, I did. You get to see how a man gets screamed at if he glances in a woman's direction. He's some sort of a horrible person now. But if a man walks down the street, bodybuilder, ripped, got the abs, got the muscles, it is hard not to notice all of the women who are almost breaking their necks trying to look at him. And the smiles. My God, if a man smiled because a woman was walking down the street in a bikini, whoo, he'd be called a pervert, a sick old man, even if he was only 20. Then we want to assign a lot of the things that we teach boys to do while they're going through puberty. And we want to pretend that all men are like that forever. No, the ones that you keep on reciprocating that in never change. That boy who hit you on the playground way back in the 1980s when you were in school, and he hit you on the playground, and you told your trusted adult, and they said, oh, well, he probably just did it because he likes you. Well, now he thinks it's okay to hit people, and you think it's okay for people to hit you because nobody did anything about it. Now here we are many years later. That guy grew up thinking that was okay, grew up getting away with it over and over again, till he did it more frequently, until it's just another part of life. If a woman doesn't do what you want, well, he knows what he's allowed to do. He knows what he can get away with. He's been taught that he can get away with that since he was a kid. And nobody corrects that behavior. A lot of people want to be angry at me because I do last-ditch desperate shit. They tell me you should have done this and you should have done that, and they tell me all the things that I did already and I had to do alone. You know what? They wouldn't be telling me to do that if they'd have been there the first 30 fucking times I tried, would they? Rather than telling me they can't do anything, maybe they should speak up. Maybe they should try telling the truth instead of being cowards. Fuck this goddamn country and everyone in it. Because I don't own property, I'm not a human being here. I have no rights. That is the one thing that could have happened. And what happened to all of the money that I could have used for that? Natalie Bollinger was killed, and all of my money had to be spent doing what? Paying my fucking creditors. Something that I continue doing to this day. Never allowed to show the truth. Never allowed to fucking face my predators. Never allowed to show evidence. Never taken seriously by anyone. Telling me you're fucking sorry just shows that you're a little bitch. Have a nice day.